Hello, in today's video we will be making my signature sugar cookies. You will need flour, sugar, salt, 3 eggs, vanilla, and butter. Let's get started. I like to use a slightly melted butter, just in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And don't forget to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. My mixer has definitely seen better days. It's gotten a lot of use over the years. But put your cup of butter and 1.5 cups of sugar in the mixer and turn it on low. Blend together till fluffy. When mixture is fluffy, then add your salt and your baking powder. I use about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and then mix again. Now add your eggs. Here is the 3rd cup. At this point, you gauge to see if you have enough flour in your dough. I always find that the dough is too sticky with only 3 cups of flour, so I like to add a little bit more. I've added another 1/2 cup. The dough is starting to form. Safe to say that the recipe calls for 3.5 cups of flour, and you get like a really nice smooth looking dough. It's time to get out your rolling pin. Make sure your work surface is sterilized and clean, and lightly flour, and let's get the dough out. Dough should not be sticky to the touch. Lightly flour the top of the dough, so when rolling out, it does not stick to the rolling pin. I use a rolling pin that allows you to get the perfect thickness of cookie. So it's rolled out, perfect thickness. Let's cut out some shapes. I will be using heart-shaped cookie cutters because Valentine's Day is coming up shortly. So slowly press your dough. Make sure you press evenly on the top of the whole cutter, and continue on the rest of the dough. Try to use up as much of the dough as possible. Cookies go in the oven for about 10 minutes. You don't want burnt cookies. And I like my cookies on the softer side, so I always tend to put them in for about 10 minutes. And when you're done with the dough, just gather it back up. What I like to do is add some of the fresh dough in the bowl to the dough that's been covered in flour, and then mix it again, roll it out, and cut your shapes. And just continue to do that till all your dough is used up. This is a recipe that over the years I've sort of tweaked it, but I've been making this sugar cookie recipe for years and years and years. Probably about 20 years I've been making the sugar cookie recipe, and I find it's a family favorite. Last cookie's cut, and just waiting to go in the oven. Once out of the oven, they should be a light color. The bottom of the cookie, let me see if I can turn one over, should be a light brown, and then just transfer to the cooling rack. Again, I like to use my metal spatula to take them off of the pan. I find they come out better that way. Remember when rolling out your dough not to use too much flour, because as you roll out the dough, it becomes thick and it becomes a hard cookie in the end. So light amounts of flour, and then roll out each piece of dough. This is my last piece of dough that I'm rolling out. This recipe should give you about 2 to 3 dozen cookies, depending on the size of your cookie cutter. I like to use one that's a little bit bigger, just so you get a bigger cookie. So usually about 2 to 3 dozen cookies. When cookies are done cooling, transfer to a plate, and stay tuned for my upcoming video on royal icing, where we will be decorating these cookies.